Thank you very much, Helmut, for presenting this data in such a clever way, so it's easy for all of us to understand. We now have time for a panel discussion, so we have two people who have joined us in the panel. That's Tora Ellen Thorhallsdóttir, who is an ecologist, and Kolbrún Halldórsdóttir, who is the Minister of the Environment in Iceland. I would like to ask three people to put their hands up, or get three questions from the floor, and then we will ask the panel members to address the questions. So, who dares to ask the first one? Over there. Can you speak loudly?
Yes. What would be the price of these 56 terawatts that takes to power New York City? So, just to get a price quote on possible uses, other uses for starting.
Okay, that's number one. Anybody over here like to ask a question?
You might.
Okay. Yes.
Why is John still alive?
Yeah.
How did he survive this?
Okay, the third one over here.
Yeah.
No, just one.
Okay, one for John Perkins. Now, see, do you have an action plan for our Icelanders how to accept you know, how to sever the IMF deal? Would you help us out with that if needed?
Okay. I'd like the panel to address these questions. Okay. The second one was, why is John Perkins still alive? The third one is, can John help us with an action plan? Okay. John, would you like to start? Yeah, if you could come up here.
Thank you. Good question. Why am I still alive? Well, it's a very good question. And after I stopped being an economic hitman, it was 1981. I started to write the book that became Confession several times, and each time in the early 80s, mid-80s, I contacted other economic hitmen and jackals to get their stories in the book. And each time then I received anonymous phone calls that would threaten my life. As I mentioned, my wife's here too, and threatened her life and our daughter, who was now 26, so was an infant at that time. And I also was offered very large bribes. I talked in the Secret History of the American Empire. I took a bribe for about $500,000 from Stone & Webster Engineering Company in Boston. It was a legal bribe. I had a very good resume. I'd been chief economist at a major consulting firm. They said, we're going to use your resume. I had dinner with the chairman of the board one night. He said, we're going to pay you $500,000. You don't have to do anything. It's legal because we're going to use your resume. We'll put it in proposals, but don't write the book. And at the same time, I was getting threats on my life and my family's life. I took the threats very seriously and took the bribes. And to assuage my guilt, a lot of the money went toward helping develop nonprofit organizations. You can look up dreamchange.org, Pachamama, P-A-C-H-A-M-A-M-A, Pachamama.org. These are wonderful nonprofits that I helped to develop. So I spent a lot of the money on good things, but I didn't write the books. And then on 9/11, I was in the Amazon. I do a lot of work in the Amazon with indigenous people to help them save their lands from oil companies. And I was in the Amazon on 9/11. But when I got home, I went up to ground zero. And as I stood there looking down into that smoldering pit, I realized I had to write the book. That my people in the United States and most people around the world had no idea, or at least my people had no idea. A lot of people around the world have an idea, but my people had no idea why there was so much animosity directed at us. This isn't to condone 9/11, but it is to say that I knew I had to write the book so that my people would have an understanding of what was going on in the world. This time, though, I committed to writing the book without telling anyone. My wife and daughter knew I was writing something, but they didn't know what until the manuscript was totally finished. No proposal. I wrote the whole manuscript and got it in the hands of a very competent agent, and it was sent out to publishing companies. At that point, it became my best insurance policy. Because any good jackal knows that killing me at that point just inflates the sales of the book. In fact, if one of you shoots me tonight, my publishers will probably be very happy. Because people who never would have bought the book before will suddenly buy it. If I die tonight, mysterious death or violent death, the sales of that book will skyrocket all over the world. And they know this. So that's why I'm still alive. And I recommend to you, if anybody wants to be a whistleblower, do it. It's really good for your conscience. It makes you feel really, really good. But don't tell anybody. But don't tell anybody that you're doing it until you have it all completed, and then let the world know that somebody, your agent, publishers, whoever, somebody has all the information there, and if you die, it's going to go out to the world. Second question, I would love to come back to Iceland frequently and do anything I could to help you folks. I don't really think you need my help. You're very bright. We just heard a couple of brilliant economists up here who are obviously looking at the situation. I work a lot with people in the Amazon, indigenous people who don't speak English or Spanish. They speak Chua, Nachua, and Quechua, and many other indigenous languages. We raise a lot of money. We help them negotiate with and fight oil companies to protect their lands. They need our help because they don't speak the language at all. You do. You're brilliant. You people have an amazing history of courage and frontiersmanship, and you're very bright, so you can do it, and I don't think you need my help. What you've got to do is just, one of the things you have to do is just let the IMF and the other banks and the aluminum companies know that they can no longer exploit you. You're willing to work with them. You're willing to cut deals, but they can no longer exploit you. And if you want to invite me back to help, I'd love to come back, but I don't think I can probably offer you an awful lot. But I'd be happy to accept an invitation. Thanks.